to get business majors, econ majors, other majors, not to be mean, I can feel that we're all kind of in the humanities, if you think about it. I feel that in the room, guys. You have to feel that. What I'm concerned about is professors that are in those departments that have refused to speak about this budget crisis, that have refused to even say anything on behalf of the university, who send out ominous emails saying reporting, like if they have a walkout. I mean, it's kind of suspicious, and I'm wondering, how would you propose for us to reach out to those students that are in those technical fields that are kind of indoctrinated in the kind of neoliberalism kind of thing? How do we reach out to them and say, hello, I'm sorry.
All right. That's a good question, and we'll get to it in a second. I'm going to move to one more, and then we'll answer it. Go right ahead.
Namaste. My family calls me Bancho, and you might think that I don't know you, but I'd like you to know that I love you all. I was doing my PhD on astrophysics, and I decided to not cooperate with the university, and now I'm doing my PhD doing citizenship of the world. So I have a quote and a couple of brief questions. So the quote is the courage to penetrate and the power to see clearly the meaning of things hidden beyond the situation prevailing around us, and to act up to the discovered meaning. That's what is called a revolutionary insight. A revolution can take place only when there's this place of penetrating insight, and this is Berkeley. So, question. It's almost inconceivable that every single nuclear weapon that the US has ever had has been designed by one university, the University of California. How do we reallocate these resources? Not for doing atomic bombs, not for doing nuclear weapons, not to pay obscene salaries and bonuses to the top managers, but to true education, to eradicate the poverty and the violence in our communities. How do we embrace this new paradigm from isolation to community, from scarcity to abundance, from transaction to trust, from consumption to contribution, from perfection to wholeness, from this our paradigm. It's a new paradigm. We're talking about a new paradigm that is not about putting the right kind of people in power or the right kind of power in people. How do we embrace that new paradigm?
Thank you. Two very simple questions for the panel. Kevin.
There's an historical, it was no different in the 1960s. The vast majority of professors and students at some of the biggest demonstrations in the 60s were not engaged. Don't wait for everybody to be on board. Just go and do it.
I want to just say that I do think it's important, and Robert Rush alluded to this. If what we really have to do in this particular campaign, and we really do have to do this, is win the hearts and minds of lots and lots of people in California, then I do think that the work we have ahead involves a lot of careful analysis and careful explaining. It can also be important to rally, to dance, to party, to cheer ourselves and all of that. But that's not going to get the job done. That's important morale boosting. So I'm for it, but I do think that to reach, I live in one of those departments, to reach those students and faculty who consider what we're doing here nonsense and consider the privatization of the university, as I described it even, a perfectly fine thing, and consider the market the absolutely appropriate measure of all goods and all life in the universe. Those people also need to be connected to, because that is the discourse that has to be chipped away at if we are to restore the idea of public values and public goods. So I say talk to some of those people. Don't yell at them. Don't badger them. Don't tell them just, they're not cool unless they're with this party. Although there is something to be said, and I think this is what Kevin's getting at, for this being where the action is. This is the cool place right now, and there's a virtue to that. That's part of politics. But bring them in other ways. Talk to them about public values, public universities, and why they're here in the first place. If they're hopeless, give it up. But if there's even a little wedge, a little window to open, keep the conversation going.
Yeah, it's important to realize that really most people in the state who are not here do not think that the faculty here do much of anything. I mean, they think we meet students for a couple hours a week in classes reluctantly. Most of them think we don't teach undergraduates. Most of them think the university gives us the money to do our research. Most of them think that our research is stupid, unimportant, or just a hobby, as a friend of Bob Jacobson. And, he couldn't disagree. He works in physics. So, it's okay. I work on dinosaurs. Come on. So this is the sort of thing. I should know my about physics. But this is the sort of thing we have to convince people. It's going to take a long time. There's a progressive. I mean, you know what an expert is? I mean, an expert is a dirty word in America. Because in this age, anybody can have a blog, anybody's on reality TV, anybody's view is worth what anyone else's view is. There's an incredible, de-intellectualization of this country. Look at how scientists are portrayed. I mean, being a marginal scientist. Look at how scientists are portrayed on TV and in the movies, right? Most of the time they're evil. The rest of the time they're just wrong. I'm happy to be just wrong most of the time. That's what the business of science is about. But you can't convince, the normal people here. Not only that, if you don't know 4 people who have lost their jobs, you're not close enough to the people in this state. There are a lot of people out there who have totally lost their jobs and they're not coming back. So the last thing we professors perceived as elitists can do is complain about a 4% or an 8% pay cut. We're not complaining about pay cuts. If this needed to be done, we would do it, but we just don't know. We haven't seen the books. We have no transparency. We have no accountability. It's extremely difficult to get reliable information. But we also think that we have a president of the university who's here and immediately has faced with the greatest crisis in the school's history for at least a very long time. And what is his reaction to it? We have to find out what these things are. We have to engage in dialogue, and we have to convince people in the state dialogue is worth having, and that education is worth investing in because it brings back the economic opportunities and jobs that benefit all of us. And that's where things really trickle down in this economy.
We're moving close. Thank you, Kevin.
So I got involved in this. I'm up here tonight because I wrote a letter to my students, and I really wrote it just to the 40 students enrolled in my undergraduate class and the 25 graduate students who I supervise as a grad advisor. And because I'm a humanist and a researcher, I can analyze complex data, provide an interpretation of that, and I can put together a sentence. If you're mostly humanists in this room, that is a big power. That is a formidable power. Not everybody can put together a sentence, but you can. That's how you got in here. So use it. So that, combined with the thing that is completely blown me away, is the power of the internet. I guess that letter has risen to the status of meme, though I'm not sure I understand what a meme is. But I didn't go around posting it anywhere. I didn't go around posting it on websites, and it ended up on all these websites, and within days I was getting email from Irvine. I've heard from professors at every single UC campus who've read it. I've gotten letters from parents. And even in these email back and forth, sometimes, at 10:30 at night on a Friday, I think, why am I answering these questions to an undergraduate student at UC Davis? Why am I in this long correspondence with her? Well, we went back and forth for a little while, and then I heard from her a week later. She said, oh, Professor Cole, thank you so much. It's been so helpful. I've set up a Facebook page, and I have 600 members. And the same thing has happened with a mother who wrote to me, where she's just now totally on board. So just don't underestimate that power of engagement. It's really, you have tremendous power.
There are 2 more.